Are you recording?
Good morning, evening, afternoon, and welcome to Raw Chatter. I am your host, Vicky Midwood speaking, and I am joined by an awesome guest today. Michelle and I met when we were both presenting as keynote speakers in Boston. It seems ages ago, but it's not actually. It's only a few weeks ago at the Obesity and Diabetes Congress. And Michelle's story totally blew me away. We are both on the same page when it comes to food, weight, health, how we speak about it, and most importantly, how we can help other people to get into the right mindset to help themselves on their own journey. Now, Michelle is a speaker, an amazing speaker, as you're going to find out, an author, and she's also a food story coach. And today we're going to touch on something that she has actually shared on a TED stage in Wilmington, Delaware, very recently. So, Michelle, over to you. We're going to be talking about food confusion, fear, and getting clarity. The floor is yours. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, Vicky, hey, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Like, who is this woman she's talking to? It is my delight, to connect with you again, because what you said when we connected in Boston, I was like, okay, here's a woman after my own heart. We're here. But I do just want to thank you for this opportunity to talk about that TED Talk that I just gave in Wilmington, Delaware, around food confusion, clarity, and fear. And that talk was rooted in my own journey.
Yeah.
And that is what my book is about, Leaving Large: The Stories of a Food Addict, is that I spent 40 years not clear about the real purpose of eating.
Right.
I was 60 years old before I actually looked up the definition of food. I Googled it. And there it was. 60 years old. I've been eating for 60 years.
Not knowing what I was doing.
It was like a revelation.
Yeah.
And it was nourishment, nutrition, and energy. That's all it is. And when I got this clarity that food is just fuel, that food is really a one-trick pony. It's a one-trick pony. The only problem it solves is hunger. But we live in a toxic food environment that tells us that food is everything else other than for nutrition and nourishment.
Absolutely.
And people get confused. I got confused because I got confused and was confused for 40 years. I'm like, okay, this is what it is that we have all these messengers and messages, and these are messages from trusted messengers, people
Correct.
that we think are acting in our own behalf, that it should be the truth, and we don't know that it's not the truth, and we just accept it, and we eat for fun. We eat for fun. We eat as entertainment. We eat as an activity.
There's so much in what you just said there, because it's from trusted sources. And even from being little kids and talking to parents, what is the one thing that they get really concerned about? Oh, my child's not eating. Oh, what's wrong? Oh, you get the message that, if you eat all of your dinner, you can have a pudding. And we're getting these really confusing mixed messages from being tiny. I've shared in my story that I would be praised for having a big appetite, but then I would be criticized for being stocky and well built. And it's like the confusion was there I'm talking about 5 or 6 years old. So you're right. And that's from parents, grandparents, teachers, well-meaning, trusted people. And I think so many people can really, really resonate with that.
Yes.
So continue.
And here's the piece about what you just said, is that wrapped up in that is the emotion and the feelings wrapped around eating that people don't always recognize. They can't even put a name on it. And even from parents, when I go out to a restaurant or go out anywhere and I see like little chubby kids or little kids who are chubby, right? Or, clearly they have been fed too much, they have eaten too much. And kids don't know, right? Kids don't know. It's parents. But when I see that, I say, oh my God, these parents love this child. They love this child so much that they don't ever want this child to want for anything. They don't ever want to hear, Mama, I'm hungry, or Daddy, I'm hungry. Because in their mind, if their child is hungry, that means that they're not providing for them, right?
Right.
That they don't have the means, they don't have the resources, and maybe something in their own past that connects with something in their own past of not having food, or that lack that still lives with them, that they want to always have that kind of abundance, right?
Yeah.
And so they're overfeeding their children because they think that that's what it means to be a good parent, and they're
Mhm.
overfeeding them the wrong thing, and they're not clear on what the right thing is, because they have these messages from this toxic food environment that says that this is what they should be eating. And it's just, that's the emotion, that's the fear.
Yeah.
Somebody will think if we're out and my kid says I'm not hungry, or I can't provide for them, the fear is that I'm not a good parent,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I'm not doing right by my child. That's the motivation. That's the fear that people can't tap into, right? Rather than thinking, oh my, let's just look at this food.
Mm.
Let's just start questioning everything about what we're told to eat. Let's look at it.
Mhm.
Let's examine it. Let's see what it really is. How about this? Let's Google, let's Google the most nutritious foods out there. Let's just start with that list. And let's Google the least nutritious foods out there. I mean, just something very simple. Let's see how much of what I'm eating is on the least nutritious, and let's see how much of what I'm eating is on the most nutritious.
Such a
And
simple thing, isn't it, for people to do? But we
yes,
don't think about doing it, do we? I'm hoping if people are listening now, just press pause, go and Google that list. There's a little exercise for you to do, and then come back and just see what you've discovered, because just that is a massive eye opener.
yeah, it just that it demystifies it. There's people. There's so much out there, and I found this in my own journey, is that you don't know where to start. Right? I mean, do I need to count my calories? Do I need to count my carbs? Do I need to count my macros? Do I need to intermittent fast? What do I need to do? And people get confused, right? And so let's just start with the people that I'm working with, the people that I coach. I tell them the same thing I did, right? Let's just start with one thing. Get one thing right. Get some success around one thing. Feel that, and let the joy of drinking enough water, right?
Yeah.
Water. Let's just do that and see what that feels like. That conquer that.
One thing.
Let's
Yeah.
let's just get enough sleep.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, Vicky, for years, whenever I would go on any sort of plan to lose weight, and everything I do is based on all the stuff that I fucked up. Really, that I just got wrong, that I just
Yeah.
missed, that I didn't do. Right? Because my thing was, okay, what can I eat and how much of it can I have? That's what I did for years. What,
Yeah.
right?
And
And
that's
then it
what
was,
we're taught, isn't it? Let's face it. When we look at weight loss, and not even going to go down the road of confusing weight loss with fat loss, because they're not the same thing, but we think that they are the same thing, and we go
yes,
immediately to eat less, move more, because that's the story that we've been told, and track your calories or track your macros, and basically it's a numbers game. And your body doesn't work like that. It's not a combustion engine. But that's the first thing we go to. Why? Because that's what we're surrounded with. That's what we're fed from all sides, isn't it? So, and nobody, as you said, talks about drinking enough water and getting enough sleep, like the basics.
and here's the thing that I missed for so many years. It's like just those things: getting the water, getting the sleep, and writing. The writing. It is the writing that saved me. And that's what I teach people how to do. I call it healing through reading, writing, and storytelling.
Nice.
Because this is all about, this is, food management is a skill.
Yeah.
This is all that this is. And that we have to learn and be taught and be open to learning a different way to think about food.
Yeah.
We have to be open to believe about food differently. And the way that we relearn and unlearn the stuff that is not serving us, one of the key and critical ways is writing. That's how we change our brain.
Love it.
That's how we change our brain. And it is more than keeping a food log, because that's just what I ate. And that's important. You want to look at that. You want to see it because you'll eat stuff and you'll forget. You don't even remember. But it's deeper than keeping a food log. It is deeper than keeping a journal, because
Right.
a journal is just what happens. And that's important. You need to know that. But the layer behind that, the next step, what I teach is prescriptive writing.
Nice.
And that is writing to change your belief system, because it is our belief system that keeps us trapped
Yeah.
in dealing with food that doesn't serve us for the one thing that it can do,
Yeah.
which is nourish our body and nourish our brain. That's what it's for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Nourish our body, nourish our brain.
Yeah. And that is the
And
BS, isn't it? It's the bullshit. It's your belief system. Yeah.
it's the belief system. And here's the thing, is that once you change your belief system, it's not a fight,
Right.
because your body will follow your beliefs.
Yeah.
Your body will follow your beliefs. But this industry that is so pervasive, this weight loss industry, keeps people trapped in behavior.
Right.
What can I eat? How much of it can I have? And how much can I move?
Yes.
And as long as you're trapped in behavior and you haven't changed your belief system, it will always be hard. It will always be a battle. You can lose weight, but you'll gain it back. It'll always be a worry. It'll always be a concern, because your body is fighting a belief system that has not been shifted.
Right. And it's not even how your body functions well. So you're fighting with yourself,
Yes.
not just in your own head, but also physiologically, because every time you lose and then gain, you're going to change the balance between your lean muscle mass and your fat muscle mass, which then causes all kinds of other hormonal issues that we're not even made aware of. And we just go, oh, I just do that thing again, that dieting
Right.
thing that I did last time,
Right.
because it worked. And we forget, but it wasn't sustainable.
Yes.
And it all came back.
Yes. And you know what the other thing is that it reinforces the pattern.
Right.
It reinforces the gain loss pattern. It reinforces the pattern. And one of the things that I found that was true for me and true for people that I work with, once you understand that it is the story, it is your belief system around food, and you stop to shift that, it gives you some space. It gives you an opportunity to make a different decision, to think about your choices in a really thoughtful and critical and strategic way, so that you don't just stay in this addictive cycle. Because that's the other piece that people don't really discuss or even talk about, that's kind of hidden, is that the reality is that moderation and addiction cannot live in the same space.
Nope.
It just does not. And we live in this toxic food environment in which the snack food industry, the fast food industry, the junk food industry, that whole industry, they formulate the foods to be addictive.
Correct. Yeah.
And when an addiction changes your brain.
Yeah.
And so you can't even treat it like weight loss, because it is a function of your brain. So the writing helps bring your brain back to some kind of normalcy, for lack of a better word, right?
Right.
But as long as you're trying to do that, it's like it's addiction. I mean, sugar is more addictive than cocaine, and there's some additives and some crap in it, some stuff that we don't even know what it is. They spend billions of dollars, to make us have desire.
Absolutely.
And once here's the secret that I want everybody to know, that it is not about willpower. It is not about self-control. It is not about self-discipline. And if you've ever beat yourself up about that, if you've ever said to yourself, I don't have those things, stop it. Stop it. This is not the truth. Right?
It's not. You've been lied to.
You've been lied to, right?
Yeah.
And so start with yourself and start telling yourself the truth, right? Start telling yourself the truth, that what it is about desire.
Right.
And that this toxic food environment, the food manufacturers, all these messengers and messengers are experts of in creating desire.
Correct.
And once we have in our own hands, we have the power to shift our desire. That's what the writing does.
Right.
It gives you an opportunity to create and imagine and build some desire around something other than the food, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
then when that is bigger and more beautiful and more vibrant and more meaningful than the food, then you can choose that thing. And here, and I'm telling you, it is the truth. Because I'm the chick. I'm the chick that used to go out to dinner. I'd look at dessert. First of all, because I was a sugar addict, I might order dessert first. I might order dessert first, because you know what? I'm a grown up. I can eat my food in whatever order I want, and
Yep.
besides, I'm paying for it. So now it's a power thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with other than that. But so I'm that person. I used to go to Starbucks and I'd get the lemon pound cake, I'd get the sweet potato bread, and I'd get the banana bread. I'd get all three of them a cup of coffee with some Splenda. Is that
Right.
like
Yeah, but that's what we tell ourselves, because it's okay. We have the drink with the sweetener, but this is just a treat because whatever story we attach to it, because I want the flavor, or because, oh, I haven't tried that one, or you know what, I deserve it, or whatever it
Yes.
happens to be. And
Yes.
that's what you're talking about. It's the food story behind it. And often it comes down to childhood connections and associations, and we didn't even know they were going on.
Exactly. And those are the stories that we need, and that not even knowing that they're going on, is that once we become aware, once we become conscious of these childhood stories and even some of the adult stories, once we're aware of them, we can change them, we can rewrite them. That's
Right.
that's the power of it. But back to the dessert before my meal, and those three banana breads and whatnot. So I'll go out to dinner, and they come around with the dessert tray and all that stuff after you had your meal, and everybody's oohing and ahhing. Um, and so I won't get it, right? Because I'm not eating it anymore, because I now believe it's poison, right? So invariably someone will say to me, "Oh my God, I wish I had your self-control. I
Right.
wish I had your self-discipline." And depending on where I am, my answer is different. But what I will say is not self-control, willpower, or self-discipline. I just don't want it. And so if you do not have desire, if you learn how to change what you desire, then when that comes around, you don't have to use willpower, self-discipline, and self-control, because you don't want it. You see it for what it really is. Because the restaurant wants you to think it's, oh my God, it's pleasurable, it's organic, the chef made it, whatever story that they want to create
It's
about
an
it, right?
orgasm in your mouth.
Yes, it'll melt in your mouth, all of that, right?
Yeah.
Um, but when you look at it and you see, you know what? I'm not even really sure what they're doing back there in that kitchen. I'm not even sure what that is. But what I do know is that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. And I know if it's a good dessert, it has some sort of fat in it, some sort of um, ingredient that is not going to be good for my body. It is not going to give me the health I want. Right.
Mhm.
At the end of it, I'm not. It may taste good, but here's the thing: taste isn't the only reason to eat.
No.
Right? We can enjoy food with our other senses, but
Absolutely.
but we have this environment that says, oh, just because it smells good, I need to get that, right? And we're conditioned to think that just
Right.
because it looks good, I need to eat it, because it has been presented to me by hands that love me, I should eat it.
Yeah.
And none of those are reasons to eat. We can still enjoy it,
That's
but
it. That's the message, though, isn't it? Because it's
awesome.
advertised, it's on billboards, it's on TV advertisements, it's in magazines. And this is where helping people to wise up, and this is what you do, isn't it, in your workshops, and
Yes,
you help people to wise up to the ways that these food industries know psychology. and they
Yes.
know how your brain works. They
Yes.
get people in to help with this stuff, so they know exactly how to hit your
Yes.
spot. There's
Yes.
a
Yes.
nutritionist in the UK, a lady called Zoe Harcombe, who shared on a podcast recently. She used to work for Mars. And she explained exactly the process of making sure that these products are indeed addictive.
Yes.
And they spend, as you said, billions on this. This is a billion, if not trillion-dollar industry that's in cahoots with the slimming industry. Often these companies own the same products, make the same products.
Yes.
So they're going to put on weight and get you fat with these products over here. Same company then makes these products over here, supposedly to help you to lose the weight. And they're all made in the same way, in that we will just hit that part of your brain that keeps you coming back for more, knowing that you are going to then want to do something different. And usually it's guilt, it's shame, it's going back to the same process of, I'll count calories, I'll go on a diet. And people don't write it down, and they don't talk about what's actually going on. So when people come to your workshops, how do you get them to be conscious and to even connect to their food story? Because not everybody's is the same, is it?
Yes. Yeah. You know what? Not every. It's surprising. Not everybody's is the same, but in many cases they are the same.
Right.
And the way there are a couple different ways, a couple of different tools that I use in the workshop. Is that I share my own stories. I share the stories of the clients that I have worked with, and then I teach people how to start getting connected to their own stories. And sometimes it is just as simple as thinking about if you have what they call a trigger food, and we can have a whole another conversation about what I feel like is the truth about trigger, right?
Right.
In fact, I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
I'll do the short version. A thing is not a trigger. A food is not a trigger. A person is not a trigger. A situation is not a trigger. The trigger is our thoughts and beliefs about the person, place, or thing.
Right.
And if we stay in this lane of knowing your triggers, then you need to know what they are.
Mm.
But if we stay in this lane of avoiding them, we will never get the power to move through this world. You'll just end up in a corner, right? Avoiding triggers, because anything can be one because of our thoughts. But once we change our thoughts and our beliefs, what we do is we learn how to disarm the trigger. That's the thing, not to avoid it, but disarm it, so that, because food doesn't have any power. It is what we believe about food that has the power. Food is inanimate. We can't have all this talk about my relationship with food. Let's stop that.
I agree.
Our relationship is with ourselves. Our relationship is with other people.
Yeah.
Food is inanimate. It is what we believe about the food that is the power. And as soon as you shift that and stop talking about my relationship and all, you kind of feel like you feel victim, like food can do something. And we start treating it as management, food management, just that simple change in language will gives you some power and an opportunity to do something a little different.
But language is so powerful, isn't it? Because we think in words. And so the words we use externally and internally matter so much. And what we don't necessarily know is the power of the words that go in when we're doing other stuff. They're just going in unconsciously. And through writing and getting conscious, you can start to recognize what these stories are. And as you said, get clarity. So tell us about this TED Talk, because you talked about getting clarity on this stuff and the fear around this, the whole food thing.
So, oh my God, the TED Talk was it was a transformational experience, really. And one of the things that it helped me do, and what I hoped, and I set it up at the beginning of the talk, was to give people clarity. Because there is, and we've touched on it a bit in this conversation, is that there's confusion about what food actually is, right? And what its purpose really is, and what food can actually do. And and I just want to segue a bit. The name of my book is Leaving Large: The Stories of a Food Addict. and I wrote it 2 years ago. This month is the 2-year anniversary. Yeah. But anyway, if I knew then what I know now, my title might be different, or the narrative certainly around it would be different, because the title was, the subtitle was Stories of a Food Addict. And the reality is, it's really stories of a processed food addict.
Right. Yes.
And people get tripped up because when you talk about addiction, you talk about addiction to drugs and other illegal substances. People go, oh, well, but we need food in order to live. I mean, it's not the same as the rest of it. And it is, because here's the truth, is that food, we do need food to live. But what we need is, we need fruit. We need fresh fruits and vegetables. We need high quality protein. We need whole food. We need nutritious, nourishing food in order to live.
Yeah.
That we need broccoli, right? we need broccoli. We need apples, and we need a protein of some sort. I mean, if you're vegetarian or vegan, okay, we need some beans. If you're a meat eater or pescatarian, okay, we need that, right?
Yeah.
But what we do not need in order to live is sugar. Is not even food.
Yep.
Sugar is not even food. We do not need processed food in order to live. The reality is, the processed stuff will kill us.
And it is doing.
That is the difference. Yeah. Is that you don't need, and so that's where the confusion is people, when you're hungry, right? When you're hungry, your body is saying, feed me. Your body is saying, feed me. I need fuel. I need nutrition. I need energy. And what we do is we give it chips.
Right.
We give it chips and a soda. Right.
Exactly. And that's just energy, isn't it? It's not nutrients. It's not nourishment.
Right. Your body, our body is looking for nutrient dense. Right.
And even go a step further with that new title or new tagline and say ultra processed foods.
Yes.
Because I think, we do process foods in a way. When we cook them, it is a process. When we pickle things, it is a process. Yes. But what we're really talking about is the stuff that is being sold to us, convenience foods, packaged foods, takeaway foods, where there is stuff in there that you wouldn't be able to get hold of for your own kitchen. There is ingredients in there that we can't even pronounce. And if we don't recognize them, neither does your body.
And that's foreign into your body, that your body can't process. Yes, thank you for that clarification. Yeah. So it's confusion about, first of all, let's get clear about what food really is, right? That's the first, that was part of the talk. And then the next part of the talk, let's get clear about the reason to eat. Right. And to satisfy hunger. But what happens is that, and this is what happened to me, I spent so many years eating for reasons that didn't have anything to do with hunger. I didn't know how to recognize real hunger. Right. So I had to come up with a process to be able to understand, is this hunger or is this something else? We have to evaluate something I call EAT. We have to evaluate everything we put in our mouth. We have to ask, is this food, right? Is this really food that I'm putting in my mouth? And then we have to think about it. Is what I'm about to eat going to support my health? Is it going to support how I want to show up in the world? Is it going to support clear thinking? Is it right? Is it going to support that? We have to evaluate. We have to ask. We have to think about everything.
I love that. Evaluate, ask, and think. Eat. Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah, we gotta eat. We aren't taught that. You go out, and I know we go out to dinner, we go out to lunch, we go out to breakfast. You get the menu. What looks good?
Yeah. What do I fancy?
Yeah. What are my taste buds saying to me? Yeah. So every decision is around appearance, taste, smell, and pleasure.
Right.
And none of those things have anything to do with nutrition and nourishment.
No. And that's the confusion, isn't it? And that's the confusion, because, and then we wonder and we fall out with ourselves when we go out and we have this food, and then an hour or so or a couple of hours later, we're like, I need something else. I want something else, because your body's trying to tell you, actually, you didn't give me the nutrients that I'm looking for. So can you please give me the nutrients that I'm still missing? But we go, I just need more food.
Yes. Yeah, I just need more of the stuff that I think is food, right?
Right.
That I don't know that's not food, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's part of where the addiction comes in. That's where the cycle comes in, because we here's the other thing, Vicky, that we're told. We are told that if you take this, if you eat this, if you try this, it will curb your appetite. It will curb your hunger.
Right.
We are told and conditioned to believe that hunger is a bad thing.
Yes.
Hunger is not a bad thing. Hunger is important. Hunger is vital. Hunger is data. Hunger is information. We need it in order to survive. But what we need to know how to do is how to respond to it in the correct way, in a way that serves our body. That's the thing that people don't understand. We need hunger.
Yeah.
But we need to know how to respond to it appropriately.
And I think that is one of the things, and I think you can resonate with this as well. If you have followed diets and you've restricted, and then if you've overeaten, binge eating, whatever title you want to call it, you just lose the ability to even know what is actual true physical hunger. And often, when have you had enough? Because your whole hormonal system, particularly if you're what I call a serial yo-yo dieter, you've lost and gained the same stone, 2 stone, 10 pounds, whatever it is, that you just lose that ability to even connect to full up and hungry. And that is a whole learning process in and of itself, isn't it?
Yes. And here I'll share with you like 3 of the questions that I use with the people that I work with that helps with that.
Right.
The first question is this: if this food will not give me the body I say that I want, why am I eating it?
Right.
All it does is just create some space. It creates some space between the act of eating and the notion that you want to eat something. If it's not going to give me the body I say I want, why am I eating it? And that question gives you a direct line to the story that often needs to be rewritten. Right? That's one of the first questions. The second question is, why this food now?
Love it.
Why this particular food? Right?
Yeah.
And then the third question is, am I hungry or am I something else?
Yeah.
Because so many times stress, fear, anger, frustration, all of that shows up in our stomach.
Yep, it does.
And because it shows up in our stomach, it just becomes a conditioned response that we want to eat for. It's not even hunger. We don't even know it, right?
Yeah.
And the other piece of it is there's some of us that believe that I'm not supposed to feel discomfort, that we don't know how to work through discomfort.
That is a really powerful one, isn't it? I think that's probably one of the most powerful ones. I know it was for me. And I didn't know actually what that discomfort was. I now know later on, having done this kind of work for myself, that actually that discomfort was feeling unsafe in the environment that I was living in.
Yes.
But I didn't know that that's what it was. And food was always going to give me what I wanted. It was reliable. It was always going to be there, right? It was safe. I knew what I was getting. And so it became literally my safety and my comfort in an environment. But I didn't know that. And this is the power, isn't it, of doing the prescriptive writing that you do. Because that's all of those powerful questions. Do you want to just repeat them again, just in case people want to kind of write them down? Because these are awesome questions, folks.
Sure. Why this food now?
Yeah.
Why this particular food now? If this food will not give me if eating this will not give me the body I say I want, why am I eating it?
Right.
And am I hungry or am I something else? Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Am I lonely? Am I tired? And how about this? Am I thirsty? Am I really thirsty? How about that?
Right.
So
all powerful
those are just some things to do before we go to the food, right?
And then, doesn't that then make you now feel more in control? Because a lot of people talk to me, and I'm sure they talk to you about feeling out of control around food.
Yes.
But when you have those questions, suddenly now it gives you the space, as you said, but a little more sense of control.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what, Vicky, I'll give you just like a quick story of what one of my clients told me. And so she had something that was on a plan to eat for breakfast, and she was at work, and she told me this at the end of the day. She said, I was at work, but I wanted some pancakes. I wanted pancakes, and I decided that was what I was going to get, that I was going to get some pancakes. I was going to leave work and go get some pancakes because I wanted pancakes.
Right.
And she said, then I went to the questions. I went to the questions. And when she was a kid, on Saturday mornings, her dad would make pancakes for them. It was just this special time, that it was just she and her brothers and sisters, and her dad was making, pancakes, and they were talking, and they were like the most special and precious things in the world. His kids were the smartest on the planet, all of that.
Right.
And so she thought about that, and she came to the conclusion that she was in her job, and they were learning something new.
Right.
And they were learning something new, and she was frustrated because she wasn't getting it. And she was a person that was used to being the smartest kid in the class.
Right.
I'm the A student, right?
Yeah.
I'm the A student. But this thing,
Wasn't clicking.
it wasn't clicking, and she was feeling frustrated. And she said, that helped me to be able to tie it and understand what was going on. I said, well, what did you do? And she said, I took a break, and then I went to the instructor, right, the lead, and had them explain it to me. Had them explain it to me offline.
Right.
And once she had them explain this, what they were doing offline, this desire for the pancakes went away.
Amazing.
But because she had a process, she had something to go to.
Amazing.
To get that. And that happens to all of us. You're just sitting there doing your work. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you say to yourself, you know what, I think I want something, right? If that just comes out of the blue, I think I'll get some. That is not hunger.
No.
I think that means somebody just said something to you. You just thought about something. You just got a phone call. You just got an email. You just heard something. Something just happened that took you to a place.
Correct.
And it gives us an opportunity to become aware of our situation, our environment. It's like a couple of weeks ago, I was it was around lunchtime. I went to the post office, and while I was at the post office, the person in line and the clerk in the post office, they got into a heated argument. It was really loud. They wouldn't fight or anything like that, but it was really contentious. And then it got resolved, and I mailed my package. And when I left the post office, I thought to myself, I think I'll go get some lunch. When I walked in the post office, I was not hungry. I was not thinking about food, right? And so, these questions, I use these questions every day. I said to myself, I think I'll go get some lunch. And then I thought, why am I thinking about lunch? I know it's lunchtime, but I'm not hungry. Why am I? And what I realized was that scene in the post office upset me.
Right.
I was sensitive. It threw me off. I didn't like that. It was painful to be in that situation. And what I think is that so many of us are a lot more sensitive to external stuff than we think that we are.
I'm sure.
And the notion of going to get something to eat was, calming, right? I'm gonna get some pleasure because even if it's nutritious, I'm gonna get something that I like and it tastes good.
Right. And that makes so much sense, doesn't it? Because you were able to ask yourself, why am I thinking about lunch now when I wasn't before? That happened. So you could make the connection. But for most of us, we don't take that moment to even ask. We just go and do it. And before we know it, we've ordered the takeaway or the burger or the Starbucks or whatever. And then we beat ourselves up about having done it. And then we feel rubbish. Now we restrict. And all of that cycle happens again. But we're not taught to to ask ourselves about how do we feel.
Yes.
And I think that's something that the power of writing, it keeps coming back to that, isn't it? Because
Yes.
you can actually start to go, yeah, but how do I really feel? No, really, how do I
Yes.
feel? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And that's key. How do I feel? How do I really feel? How do I really feel? Right?
Yeah.
Because it's always, there's like another level. You keep pulling back
Always.
the layers. You
Yeah.
keep pulling back the layers, and we have to be prepared. Vicky, here's the thing: is we have to be willing to take the journey. We have to be willing to experience whatever comes up.
Yeah.
We have to be open to that. I mean, there's some trust that you have to have in yourself to know that whatever comes up, that I can honor that, right? That whatever comes up is not going to kill me. It actually is going to make me stronger, having this insight into myself. Because all of this, it is not about the food. It is about us getting connected to who we really are, and not being afraid of feelings, not being afraid of emotions, understanding that that's what makes us human. Right? That's what makes us interesting. That's what gives us texture. That's all of this is what makes life so fun and so vibrant, when we're able to move the food out of the way. We can connect to ourselves, and then we can connect to other people.
Yeah. And for you now, that is exactly what you are doing, isn't it? You are connecting to so many people in so many places. So let people know where you are at the moment, because you're in Texas, you're doing talks, you're doing workshops, and tell them how they can get your book if they want to buy
Yes.
it, and
Yes.
B, find out about your workshops, and C, connect with you if they want to.
Okay, sure. All right. So there are a couple of different ways to connect with me. Just email me directly, Michelle@michellepettis.com. It's Michelle, Michelle with two L's, at michellepettis.com. That's Petties.com. If you Google my name, everything will come up.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. And if you follow me in those ways, it's under I Am Brand New Now.
Love it.
And I am brand new now, specifically because my work, this journey, what I help people with, is about brand new thinking, brand new belief systems. So when you get brand new, you're shifting, right? You're shifting, and you're moving in a different direction. Right.
And I will put all of those links in the show notes. And if you are watching on YouTube, they will be in the description.
Perfect.
I just wanted to, and I'm sure you don't mind sharing this, but just to let people know, because you are brand new now, but you're not young, you're not a spring chicken, right? Tell people what age you are when you became brand new, because it's important that people know it's never too late, is it? So go on, drop that bombshell. Are you ready for this?
I love that. I love you for that. Yes, I feel like a spring chicken. Let me
Oh,
say
you
that,
feel
even
like it.
though I'm not
You
one.
sound like
I
it.
feel like one. But I am 65. I'm
Say
65.
it louder.
A
65,
six, a
folks.
six, a 6, and a 5.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something. I feel better. I feel stronger. I feel more powerful. I feel more confident. I have more freedom. I have more joy. I have more life. I have more of all of that at 65 than I did at 25.
Yes.
It is possible. It is not too late.
Yeah.
Now is the time, and never give up. Those are the N words. Those are the N words. If you want some N words, now is the time. It's not too late, and never give up, because you deserve it. You
What
deserve it.
better 3 sentences to finish on. That's perfect. Thank you so much for taking
Oh,
the time in your busy schedule to spend it with us. What you have shared has been absolutely awesome. And please, folks, do follow Michelle. And when your TED Talk comes out, I can't wait to hear it, because I know you are going to be on fire. I'm so excited about your journey. And I am so honored and privileged to have met you. It would never have happened if it hadn't have been for me jumping on that plane and going to Boston. So, Michelle, thank you so much. Listeners, you heard it here. You're never too old. It is never too late. You can create the version of you that you've always wanted to be, no matter what age you are. You just have to give yourself permission to go on that journey. I am your host. And remember, as far as we know, you only ever have one body. Look after it because it's looking after you. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.